Hey guys, Dustin, PPC Pros, doing this video on different marketing strategies or channels for your tour or water sports operation. So I'm going to cover some of the most popular ones that people look to. There's definitely others out there, but I don't know a lot about others. I know about these. So that's what we're going to talk about on this particular video. So we're just going to talk about some ways to get bookings for your company and a few of the pros and the cons for the different channels available. So I'm just going to jump right into this list we've got here. And we'll start with SEO. It's a very popular channel. So if you don't know what this is ranking organically in the search engines like Google Ads, Google organic results. So when somebody does a search, you show up, and a lot of times it's in the maps. I didn't mean to say ads, just maps. So the pros for SEO is because people are typically searching, you get high quality leads because they're looking for you or your experiences, your tours at that moment. They're also basically seeing, if you're in maps, you're ranking there, which is really what SEO is today on a local level. They get to see your reviews. They're also more prone to click on those maps listings. They can see your address. They can click through your website. If you got your booking engine attached to your maps listing, they may even be able to book with you and buy tickets from right there. So it's a great thing. The only cons to SEO really is that it can take a lot of time and it takes a lot of effort and probably money to rank. You're always going to be competing for that spot because other competitors are going to try to beat you there. The good news is OTAs are not in the map section. So Google organic, like in the actual search results, a lot of times the OTAs dominate that area. You can still try to win as well, depending on your searches or your keywords. But it can take some time. It doesn't mean you'll ever win that competition. If you're spending, $200 a month on some, not so great SEO person, somebody spending 10 times that amount, it's going to be extremely difficult for you to win unless they're just wasting their money. But that's unlikely the case on a lot of different markets. And you also may only be able to rank in your local area. So let's say you're in a particular location, or you probably are. If you're trying to also rank for areas nearby where your target market might be looking, you may not be able to do that in the map section. So it kind of limits you most of the time to your actual location, okay? It's not always a bad thing. It just means that if you wanted to extend your reach, it could be darn near impossible or very, very tricky to do it or very expensive. So that's one of the cons, but SEO is a great long-term strategy. OTAs, so everybody pretty much knows what OTAs are. They love them, they hate them, a little bit of both. The good thing about OTAs is they have an extensive network. They've got tons and tons of customers. They can email them. They can, show them recommended experiences. Maybe they book something that wasn't what you do, but something in your market. And they're showing you other experiences they could book, and yours might be one of them. Again, there's no upfront cost really. Maybe some setup costs in some cases, but generally speaking, it's free to set up. The cons are that you got to pay commissions. And so some of those commissions might be very reasonable, very fair. Some might be overinflated. I mean, you would know based on your market and what you're doing and your agreement with the OTA. And of course, they own the customer. They dictate the terms. So you don't get, that customer is not really your customer. You just have to service them. Also, like cancellations and refunds and all that, they can sometimes dictate that policy. And you have little or no control over your rankings, except to obviously get more reviews and show up more often in that respect. But if they decide to unseat you one day for one reason or another, there's almost no recourse. So you can, do well, but God forbid if something ever happened with that listing and you're not ranking well anymore, your revenue could be completely gone or very, very impacted. It also might take a little bit of time to get set up and get started. Honestly, probably not the end of the world, but it doesn't happen overnight. It might take you weeks, whatever, to get approved. Again, depends on the OTA. It could be longer. Maybe they're not taking on new people in your area for what you offer, that sort of thing. So again, you just don't have the control with OTAs, but it can be a great channel for, no upfront cost marketing to get bookings. Okie dokie. Social media posting. I gotta be honest, this one I don't like at all. I mean, we don't do a lot of organic posting for any clients, but I mean, it's a great thing for you to do for yourself, which is as a marketing agency. We typically don't really like this one too much. So social media is an excellent way if you want to build relationships with people who know you. They already follow you. You're doing a really good job posting good content. You've got people that like your page and all that fun stuff. It can be great to engage with them, show them a bunch of cool videos, images, stuff like that. So it is a great medium. But the cons are why I don't typically like it as an agency, because it can be tricky. I mean, if you don't have a following, you get almost no benefit for your content. You will at some point in the future, but it's kind of like SEO without the search intent behind it. So it takes a little bit of time to build up a following, and hopefully, you'll get people to actually want to engage, and hopefully those people actually want to book with you that are, maybe traveling into market. That's not always the case either. And you got to maintain this thing. So you've got to constantly, respond to people, which is fine, create new content, post new stuff. So if you've got somebody dedicated to doing that, or you like doing it, then this could be a great channel, but it's going to be super slow in the beginning for sure. And you may just have to work at it for a long, long time. And you may never get to the point where you get critical mass. But the next one is what I do like, which is social media PPC. So it's basically taking everything we just talked about and putting some ad spend behind it. Because the biggest downside to this, which is the regular posting, and the difference with this, the PPC side, is that you get eyeballs on it. And you can control the eyeballs of the people. Well, not control the eyeballs, but you can control what eyeballs are seeing your content for the most part. So one of the pros with PPC on social media, these are your Facebook ads, Instagram ads, that sort of thing, is it's pretty quick to deploy. Of course, you have to know what you're doing, but for the most part, you can have ads up and running pretty darn quickly, and you can target people traveling to your location. So these are people who don't live within 125 miles of your location. You could target just those people. So let's just say you're doing tours in New York City. If you try to target everybody in New York City, that's crazy. There's a lot of people. You're going to waste a ton of ad spend showing ads to the wrong people. But if you can target people traveling to New York City, again, there's a ton of people who maybe are traveling to for work reasons, and they know the area and all that, but let's just put that aside. You're going to have a much more captive audience, most likely of people who might want to see the city, do a tour, or do a specific type of activity. So it helps you save a ton of money on your ad spend, and that's a really cool thing. You can segment people based on if they've been to your website or not, if they've engaged with previous content or not. And then there's a relatively low cost for the reach that you can get. So it is a display network, a display advertising. So it's not that every person that sees your ad should, but it's a lot better than just using some blanket banner ad somewhere else. And, you can do some other things with targeting, but we'll leave that alone for this video. The cons are that tracking is suspect. Sometimes Facebook estimates things and it's not accurate. Sometimes they don't show the sales or the bookings or even the leads if you're doing a lead gen ad that you got from your campaign. And it's because they have a very small attribution window. It's 7 days by default. And if people take a while to book with you after that, that is not going to show up in your reporting a lot of times. So you're not going to actually be able to measure your ROI that easily. And for that reason, we kind of tell people that we do this for, look at it as a kind of a blended approach between direct response. You're going to get conversions, you're going to get leads, you're going to see it directly in Facebook, and brand awareness, where it's still going to result in some of those things. You just may not be able to see the attribution. The setup can be tricky the first time. If you don't know how to connect things, it is a total nightmare. I'll use that word, nightmare. Getting your tracking and access and everything the first time with like an agency, or even if you're trying to do it on your own. Facebook's got a million permissions levels and assets you need to set up or connect to. It's a total nightmare. But once it's done the first time, it's not so bad after that. And then targeting options do change constantly. There's some things that we could do a year ago we just can't do today, and that's not going to get any better over time. It'll probably get worse. So just bear in mind that that's some of the cons. But it could be a great medium for lead gen and for bookings. Referrals, affiliates, partnerships. This could be your hotel concierges, people at restaurants, people that are local. I guess you could even include like influencers in this. It can be really good if you get good word of mouth, because the conversion rate's gonna be better. Lead quality will be pretty good because people are pre-sold, and people trust people who refer them. If it's a business referral, then that may not be the case necessarily, but for the most part, they're going to trust people that they know more than nobody. And then the other thing about it is it might be another similar to OTAs. You may only have to pay after a booking has been secured by you. So that could be a really good kind of situation where there's no real upfront cost. That totally depends on who you're working with and who you're dealing with and what you guys agree to. So there's no hard rule there. Cons is obviously that it could be difficult to track. You can give people special links or coupon codes that could work. but it's not always perfect. And depending on how your affiliates want to get paid, they might say they've sent people and then you don't see they use the code, and it can just be a little bit messy. But again, it's probably well worth the mess. And you can't always scale this channel. So once you get a partner, a lot of times, unless they're an OTA or something, somebody has some reach and some scale to them, they might send you, let's say, a few bookings a month, but it doesn't mean you can triple, quadruple it if you gave them more money, right? They may have a limited reach. It's still a great channel, still a great network to diversify, but not always scalable and a little bit, and it can be harder to track, a little bit tricky. Lastly, my personal favorite, just because I'm biased, but Google Ads PPC. Why? Because you can basically target people looking for exactly what you do, much like we saw with SEO, basically like within a matter of days from setting things up. I mean, usually we get bookings the same day something launches, but not always. So it's very, very quick. People are looking for your exact thing. With SEO, you have to wait and you have to pay, and you can only show ads in your market in Maps or in the organic section. Here at Google Ads, we show ads at the top of the page, also in Maps in some cases. And it's really, really good place to show up. The ROI is highly trackable. Nothing is ever perfect, but it's very, very trackable. And it's usually very easy to scale depending on what you offer and what market you're in and what time of year it is. But for the most part, it's a lot easier to scale this network than most of the others. Some of the downsides are you never own the traffic. So you're always going to pay Google for the cost of that traffic. Where SEO, you're still paying an SEO person to get traffic from Google, and you're not paying Google directly, but you never own the traffic. I mean, in any of these, honestly, in any of these, you don't own the traffic unless you build an email list from it. And then you're also going to have to pay Google for clicks for the ads. So you got to have an ad budget. You also might need to hire an agency. Obviously, we recommend that because it's not like a set and forget strategy. So you're going to have a Google bill, you're going to have an agency bill. With SEO, you'll just have an agency bill. With OTAs, you'll just have an OTA bill after they book. So all these things will have costs. You're just breaking it down a little bit differently. But I like Google Ads because you can get up and going quickly. You can pivot. You can target multiple areas. You can target people who are not in your market but are looking in your market and they're out some other place in the world. With SEO, you can still kind of do that as well. May not be as perfect, but I love this channel. It's great, and it's very quick to get feedback. And also Google Ads work really well to inform your SEO strategy because you know what keywords convert. And a lot of times it's pretty simple to figure that out ahead of time anyway, but you never know. There's things you could learn that you could apply to that strategy as well. So those are what I got. Those are the 6 kind of lead gen channels, booking channels for tour operators, water sports companies. Check them out, some of the pros, some of the cons. If you have anything I should have included that I didn't, comment below. If there's any questions you have about any of these, let us know, and if we can answer them, we will. But thanks for watching. Take care, and God bless.